So thank you for joining us today. We're here today with the Dr. Reverend, or whether it's the Reverend Dr. Ash Barker, whichever way he prefers. He's the founder of Seedbeds, and he's here today to share a bit about what it means for churches to engage meaningfully in their communities. And so great to have you with us today, Ash.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time.
And so we're going to ask a few questions just to glean a bit of his experience and wisdom from his experience doing local mission around the world in different areas, but particularly now in Winson Green in the UK, and what lessons we can learn. So I guess the first question I'd love to ask you, Ash, is what is Seedbeds, and particularly what's the Changemakers program that you've been launched in the last couple of years in Australia?
Yeah, so Seedbeds is really a kind of prophecy for us. John Perkins, a civil rights leader, brilliant man. I got to meet him on our way to the UK, and I was trying to describe what I wanted to do with the second half of my life, which was investing in local community leaders and seeing their dreams come true. And I was faffing about a bit. I couldn't quite get the words out very well. But he said, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to grow a seedbed. People come and learn and grow, and communities will flourish. Some folks will stay, but others will be replanted in other areas and other seedbeds. But you want to grow seedbeds. That's what you want to do. And 10 years later, that's exactly what's been happening in Winson Green, but we've also been able to support Seedbeds. Really, it's about releasing the unique potential of local people and places into God's shalom, into fullness of life, into flourishing that God intends for communities. We believe every local community can flourish, but most don't. And the way to unlock the potential is through local community leaders. And so programs like Changemakers is really about discovering the gifts and talents of local leaders, connecting them together so they're not isolated, and then releasing them into a project, into a social business, into a local church that they're starting. And so, yes, we've been doing that for 8 or 9 years. And it's been amazing to see these kind of shy, not quite sure what they've got to offer kind of folks in some of the poorest neighbourhoods in the UK, but come together in solidarity and come together and discover their gifts and talents and passions, and then starting amazing things.
Yeah, okay. And so what are some of the lessons you've learned from Jesus' ministry, and how do you think it applies in the sort of Seedbeds context you've just described?
Yeah, Jesus had different kinds of ministry with different kinds of people. You see a lot of his ministry is with crowds, and he has compassion for the crowds, but he also doesn't trust the crowds. And he often takes these disciples into these formation experiences and bonding experiences. I think part of Jesus' ministry that I really relate to is this invitation to discipleship that I kind of need, but also the bonding and community connections that people really get to know each other and support each other through the journey. Jesus didn't just preach a message, he grew a community. And I think where those communities are genuinely local, God's will being done on earth as in heaven, that's where the kingdom of God really starts to expand and grow and develop. And so I think Jesus' message isn't just individual salvation, it's the good news of the kingdom of God. And so that means people encountering, following Jesus, but following Jesus into seeing the kingdom of God happen on earth and in their particular patches, in their particular places, into the bits of the earth that they're called to be. And of course the disciples ended up, spreading out all over the world to find their bit of the earth which they were to invest in. And some of them, of course, died, in seeing that happen. Most of them did, actually. And so I think for me, I'm most inspired by the life and the teaching of Jesus, but also his resurrection, that he defeats death. He defeats all those things that are against human flourishing and community flourishing. He defeats those things and enables it to happen for all of us. And that inspires me as well.